Hey, how's it going, everyone? International Master Daniel Rensch back here again for Chess.com. You know it. And another dose of chess news. There has been some exciting chess news over the last couple months, and that's an understatement. We've got world champions getting arrested. Here you see the former world champion, Garry Kasparov, getting arrested. Obviously, he's a well-known enemy of the state, of Vladimir Putin and all those. I guess by doing this video, I might become one, but let's hope not. Anyway, he was apparently assaulted, not doing anything, standing outside the feminist punk rock band Pussy Riot. I feel dirty even just saying that, but they apparently were convicted of multiple crimes of basically treason for speaking out against the Russian government. Kasparov happened to be there. They wanted to make a statement, and so, hey, throw a chess player into a van. You know, you see what happens to you next time you try that. I'm going to tell you that much, right? Kidding. Don't do that to me. But anyway, so that's weird, right? So that's a big piece of chess news. Obviously, the biggest piece of chess news for Chess.com just announced last week. We've been kind of sitting on this, super excited to have the U.S. Chess League, which, if you don't know, is a league that is played around the entire country, the United States of America, of all the best players pretty much. And it's played over a 10-week period, and it's really exciting, kind of the closest thing that chess has, at least in America, compared to like the Bundesliga and some of the European leagues. Closest thing we have to the NBA, you see kind of the logo there, kind of looks like it, right, or the Major League Baseball. And so we hope the U.S. Chess League continues to grow and have success, and we hope that Chess.com's going to be a big part of that. So we're super excited to have the U.S. Chess League be coming over to the world's biggest chess website, Chess.com. So hopefully it's a win-win for everybody, and we wanted to make that announcement here on our YouTube channel. The third thing that happened, I previewed the Biel tournament that was taking place in Switzerland, and we figured that no one could really do anything to stop Magnus Carlsen from winning yet another tournament, but apparently we were wrong when Wang Hao slipped right in there, dominated the field with some incredibly aggressive and decisive chess. I wouldn't say maybe he didn't dominate, but he really put on a show as far as a fighting spirit, and ended up winning the last round, and Magtown came up short, and as you can see here, he's not that happy. Looks like somebody stole his cookies, and that's what happens when someone steals a tournament from him. It never feels like anybody's even winning tournaments these days. It feels like they're just stealing them. Either Magnus Carlsen wins them, or they somehow he gets his event stolen from him. But in any case, congratulations to Wang Hao. That was an exciting event, and wanted to throw that out there since we previewed it in our last news piece. The fourth big piece of chess news is that there is a movie coming out about the former world champion, Bobby Fischer, obviously former crazy world champion. Everybody knows of his late exploits toward the end of his life, and obviously here you can see the resemblance between Tobey Maguire and Bobby Fischer. Just kidding, right? Here's an actual picture that looks like maybe it would work here with Tobey Maguire playing Bobby. I don't know. You can tell me. I feel like maybe Maguire's a little bit too short, maybe a little bit too feminine, right? Maybe his roles with Spider-Man just make me feel that way. Kidding. Anyway, that could be an exciting movie. Might be interesting. And so we wanted to throw that little piece of chess news your way in case you weren't aware of that. As far as what we're looking forward to, before I get to the last major thing that happened on Chess.com and review a game, we always like to have a little bit of chess for you guys in these crazy news pieces that I do. But we have Chess TV coming up this fall, and we have a packed Chess TV schedule. My younger brother, actually, Joshua, known as Brother Josh on Chess.com, kind of character himself, but he is going to be the main anchor of all the U.S. Chess League shows. And you can find him hosting the Chess TV coverage of the U.S. Chess League on every Wednesday night over on Chess.com. It's open to basic members, meaning just go to Chess.com if you have a free account. You can't lose anything here. And the Chess TV coverage is always entertaining. Josh will be hosting alongside other international and grandmasters for the professional chess perspective to complement his what will likely be an amateur hour for him. But anyway, it's going to be exciting Chess TV coverage of the U.S. Chess League. We also have Chess TV coverage coming up of the Olympiad. Here, let's hope that this year Hikaru Nakamura, fresh off his U.S. championship win, can lead the U.S. team to gold, maybe, huh? If you're out there, Naka, if you win the gold, baby, I hope so. Hope you can win gold on top board and for the team. And remember who called it first. If not, then don't call me. Yeah. Anyway, so those are some things we're looking forward to on Chess TV over on Chess.com. We got the Olympia coverage. We got the U.S. Chess League coverage this fall. all these other events that took place over the last few weeks. Hopefully you're appreciating this little piece of news to keep you informed. And now what I'd like to do is review the game of the biggest event that happened on Chess.com over the summer, which was world champion Viswanathan Anand, the reigning world champion from India, actually played a match versus the world, the first of its kind on Chess.com, where we've had a world champion battle it against the world. It was super exciting. We covered it. Was a very long game, over 4 hours. We covered it all on Chess TV. Thanks to Grandmaster Hare Krishna, who joined me, along with many others, and it was really exciting. If you have a membership, you can go watch the coverage of the match. But he played a game. We had over 5,000 people voting, so the world was represented by 5,000 Chess.com members, and it was a really exciting event. Really happy that Viswanathan Anand. We want to thank Metropolitan Chess Incorporated, who helped bring the world champion to Los Angeles for some of the events that he did. And it was really exciting. It was an interesting game. It ended in a draw, a short draw, but the time itself was 4 hours, so not that it wasn't hard fought, just kind of ended in a draw. Neither side really wanted to push further. And so I'm going to review that game for you guys right now, and then we'll call it a day. Hopefully you enjoyed this news piece, and hopefully you're going to enjoy this game. Okay, and in this match against the world champion was blessed with the white pieces. He started out with 1d4, and after d5, he chose the move order 2 knight f3. My guess was perhaps didn't want to go into any sort of crazy gambits with mainline Queen's Gambit, decline play, maybe an Alvin counter gambit or something real funky, just because in this setting, maybe avoiding the most tactically sharp positions where he might be more likely to make a blunder than 5,000 people voting together. That's one thing that 5,000 people do, even if they're all much weaker players, is they sort of blunder check themselves. It's like a matrix machine. You know, they can't really be stopped. So the world is very difficult, and other past events like this have proven the world to play it, basically a 2,700 level. So this was not going to be easy for the world champ. So he definitely took it seriously. Started out with this move order to avoid some trickiness, transposed back into a mainline Queen's Gambit type position. Here we had a mainline Slav. The world neglected to play d takes c4, the mainline variations of the Slav, but instead transposed back into semi-Slav / QGD positions. The world champ avoided lines with bishop to g5. Either a Moskva variation or perhaps even a Botvinnik Slav was something he didn't want to face. Again, the sharpest position. So he played e3. Pretty standard stuff these days. And after bishop b4, I remember during the match that myself and Grandmaster Hare Krishna, this is not necessarily the best line, even though it's a very popular move in the database and references if people were using those sort of things during the game to learn what to do against the world champion. Hopefully they weren't. But it's a popular move that a lot of amateurs would play, but it's not the best move because typically giving up the bishop pair on c3 when your opponent can undouble the pawns quickly is not really something in your interest because you're not getting enough compensation. But it is a main line, and the theory certainly is playable for black, but I believe this decision right here was maybe partly what helped the world champ eventually achieve an edge, with knight bd7 and basically Moran variations, or even bishop e7 perhaps being slightly more solid ways to play the position. In this situation, they played bishop b4, and after bishop d3, theory continued, normal stuff, and now after a3, the world is forced to sort of give up the bishop pair or retreat and lose some time. And in this situation, for sure, you're looking at a position with kind of a long-term tiny edge for white, and that proved to be true even all the way up to the end of the game when it was agreed to a draw. After queen to c7, obviously the world knows that the main idea here is to take and at some point lash out with c5 or e5 to sort of equalize the position and open up scope for this bishop. But the world champ said, coming at you high, and I'm going to come at you hard right here with the bishop on the long diagonal. And he said, well, I'm not going to let you open up the position without feeling the wrath of the bishops. But the world was accurate here, knew that it still needed to be aggressive, and went ahead and did it with e5. The knight retreated to d2 with a nice solid move to avoid the fork on the knight and bishop. And now the world submitted or committed to this e4 move, which creates this very strong pawn chain, potentially creating counterplay against the king side over here. And that proved to be really important in the game because the world did generate enough threats to force the world champion into a repetition. It's an interesting decision because for sure white is going to really be able to manufacture play on the queen side, and that's not really going to be prevented, or it's not really stoppable as far as from black's perspective, but black does have the ability to stop it in terms of counterplay if he can create threats on the king side. So this e4 move was played with that in mind, and rook e8 is played. to free up this f8 square for the knight so that more pieces can start to come over here to the king side. Game continued, and now the world played this sort of surprising move, knight to b6, which loses some time, and it seems like a really awkward move, but the fact that it sort of pushed white to close up this queen side might have helped the world have just enough time to really generate counterplay. For example, if a move like knight f8 is played and the world has to deal with just the basic opening of the position, they might regret it and not really ever have time to generate things. So this decision to play knight to b6 and either meet this with this so that they can try to hold this square and prevent counterplay, or force this move c5, which is what happened, was an interesting one and sort of a surprising one at the time, but I think a good decision by the world. The game goes on with both sides bringing their pieces to the side of the board where they can attack on, following in the direction of their pawn chain, a good positional rule. But unfortunately, right when we thought we might be about to see fireworks on the queen side with the champ trying to bust some things open, the game ended in a repetition with neither side knowing what to do here. Black is threatening to play knight to g4, which creates real issues. Obviously, a checkmate threat over here on h2 being one of those issues. And white doesn't want to have to play a move like g3 and weaken the king side. So the choices are to either go back with the bishop to guard this against this threat, or to play h3, which probably, if the game hadn't already gone on for 4 hours based on the format of this vote chess, which takes a little bit of time, technically, if the game hadn't already gone on so long, my guess is we might have seen the world champion play h3, prevent the move knight g4, and try to continue to push on with a tiny, tiny edge. According to computer analysis, white still has a little bit of a pull here with more space and potentially better play on the queen side, and not exactly clear how black is going to keep generating play on the king side. But h3 is also a slightly weakening move, so he didn't want to play it. My guess, though, is that if there had been more time and maybe he hadn't already exerted so much energy, he might have pushed on a little bit more. But the bottom line is, why do it when you've already put so much time in? And at this point, I think that it was pretty safe to say both sides had played equally well and deserved the draw. The world, obviously, congratulations, achieving a draw against the champ with the black pieces. And, of course, congratulations and thank you goes out to Vishy Anand for putting up such a good fight and striving to beat the world. Even though it ended with this repetition, we know that the 4-hour fight was well worth it. And it was a really fun ride covering the event on Chess TV, I can say that. So thank you, everybody, for enjoying or at least watching this piece of chess news. I know most of you don't really enjoy it. I'm just kidding. I know a lot of you enjoy it. But leave your comments. Let us know what you think regardless. And we'll see you around on Chess.com.